We sleep in the same bed every night. We eat meals, mostly dinner, at the same table. We're both present every day, raising our kids together. But I'm telling you right now, we are both completely alone. And I think we've been alone for a long time.
Marriage is supposed to be the opposite of loneliness, right? That's what they tell you. Find your person, build a life together, and you'll never have to face the world by yourself again. But nobody tells you that you can share a life with someone and still feel like you're drowning in isolation. That you can be surrounded by family and still feel invisible. My wife and I, well, let's just say we function well together. We have our routines down. She brings in and handles the money. I handle the kids in the house. We communicate about schedules, about what needs to be done, about who's doing what. We're an efficient team. But somewhere along the way, we stopped being partners and became coworkers who happen to live together. I can go days without having a real conversation with her. Not about bills or groceries or the kids' school stuff, but a real conversation about how we're feeling, about what's going on inside our heads, about whether we're okay or just pretending to be okay. And I don't think she notices either, because she's just as trapped in the routine as I am. We're both going through the motions, both waiting for something to change, both too exhausted to actually do anything about it. I look at her sometimes when she comes home from work, and I can see the weight she's carrying. The stress of being the only one bringing money into this house. The pressure of knowing that if she fails, we all fall apart. And I want to reach out. I want to tell her I see her, that I understand, that I'm sorry I can't carry that weight with her. But the words don't come. And she walks past me like I'm furniture, goes straight to her phone or the TV, and we spend another evening in the same room, but completely separate. And here's what makes it worse. I know I'm doing the same thing to her. I know she probably looks at me and sees someone who's given up, someone who's just existing, someone who's physically present but emotionally checked out. And she's not wrong. Because when you feel worthless, when you can't contribute the way you're supposed to, you start disappearing even from yourself. How can I be present for her when I'm barely present for me? We used to talk for hours. Back when we were dating, back before life got complicated, we'd stay up all night just talking about everything and nothing. Our dreams, our fears, stupid stuff that made us laugh. Now we can't even get through dinner without awkward silence. We've run out of things to say to each other. Or maybe we just stopped believing the other person wants to hear it. So we fill the silence with distractions. She scrolls her phone, I watch videos. We both pretend we're tired when really we're just avoiding each other. Because connecting requires vulnerability, and vulnerability requires trust, and I'm not sure we trust each other anymore. Not with the big stuff. Not with the truth about how alone we both feel. My parents had this same silence too. I was old enough to know what love is, and what it means when two people who are supposed to be in love with each other rarely speak to each other, avoid looking at each other, even at the dinner table. Like two strangers at a bus station. And I used to think, when I grow up, when I get married, it won't be like that. My wife and I will actually talk. We'll actually connect on different levels. We'll be different. But here I am, living the same story, the same silence, the same loneliness. My father worked himself to death trying to provide, and even with all that effort, I don't think he and my mother were ever really together. They were married, sure, but they were both alone. And now I understand why he never talked about it. Because how do you explain to someone that you're lonely when you're never actually by yourself? He passed away at 63, and I wonder how many of those years he spent feeling like this. Like a ghost in his own marriage. Like someone going through hell all the time. I'm lonely.
That's the truth. I can barely admit it to myself, let alone say out loud, but that's the truth. Like my dad, I'm married, I have kids, I'm never physically alone, but I am profoundly, devastatingly lonely. And I think my wife is too. I think we're both drowning in the same isolation, both reaching for something we can't name, both too scared or too tired to bridge the gap between us. And the worst part is, I don't know if we even want to fix it anymore. Because fixing it would mean admitting how broken it is. It would mean having the conversations we've been avoiding for years. It would mean being vulnerable with someone who feels like a stranger now. And that's terrifying. So we keep going, keep pretending, keep waking up next to each other and feeling completely alone. Sometimes I wonder if she lies awake at night thinking the same things I'm thinking. Wondering when we stopped being us. Wondering if there's a way back or if we're just stuck here forever. Two lonely people who chose each other once upon a time and now can't remember why.
If you're married or in a relationship, but you feel like you're living alone, if you're sharing a bed with someone who feels a million miles away, if you've stopped having real conversations because the silence is easier than the truth, you're not alone in this. And I don't just mean that in some inspirational way. I mean literally. There are so many of us living this exact same story, feeling this exact same isolation, and none of us are talking about it. I don't have solutions. I don't know how to fix a marriage when both people are too exhausted to try. I just know that this silence is killing us slowly. And maybe, just maybe, the first step is admitting that we're both alone, and we don't have to be. I'm Dad alone, and so are you. See you next week.